What's up, everybody? CHM Carnivores here. I hope you're having a wonderful day and a wonderful week. Now, I'm very excited about the topic we're going to talk about today. But before we get into that, if you could please do me a favor and like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Let's help the channel grow so we get the word out to more and more people about how easy, fun, and exciting it is to grow these plants so that we can help protect them. But then also show people how you can buy these plants on a budget, that they're not out of reach like a lot of people say that they are, a lot of people have seen. Now that brings me into the topic of today's video. Now, if you followed my channel for any length of time, you know that I am gearing my channel around buying these plants on a budget. And I have done a $100 budget per month for a while, and I want to show you how you can do that and still grow a very large, very nice collection on that $100 or even less. This is going to be a two-part series. The first part today is going to be focused on actually purchasing the plants. The second part is going to be about the supplies that you can buy at a discounted price that are still going to give you the same results as some of those very expensive options. I hope you enjoy the video. All that and more coming your way now. So when it comes to buying seeds, there are different options that you have. For the longest time, it really was Etsy or eBay, but you run a really high risk of getting sold something that you don't want or not a carnivorous plant at all. But thankfully, recently sites like Carnivero have been offering seeds at really good prices, and they also discount them at times. This and then all these over here are all seeds from Carnivero that I purchased, I don't know, it's probably been a month and a half, 2 months ago. And as you can see, they are growing quite well. Now, I would recommend buying from a reputable site like a Carnivero because you're gonna get good quality seeds, but then also they have really good customer service. Now, you can purchase these seeds certainly through an eBay or Etsy. I do highly caution buying Nepenthes seeds specifically through eBay and or Etsy, just because there's a lot of fraudulent stuff that's out there. That doesn't mean that all of it is that way, but there is certainly a lot. Another thing you can do is you can use Facebook forums. Again, you are relying solely on other individuals, and that can be an okay thing just as long as they're properly vetted. The benefit of buying seeds, of course, so you can get upwards of 60 seeds for $20 on Carnivero, which means certainly they're not all going to germinate, but as you can see here through some of the moss, you will get a high germination rate. There's probably 30 plants in here. Now, it is the same species, or the same hybrid rather, but what this does allow is for future leverage if I want to sell them, then purchase other more expensive plants, or if I want to trade. And so this is a really good option for that. Now, you can buy, as far as Drosera and Venus flytraps, Etsy has actually been a very good site for me for that. What I would say is just make sure you vet out the individual that you're buying it from. Make sure you check out the reviews. And if you still have any questions, always use me as a resource. Ask me and I will do some due diligence for you and help vet it out and to make sure that everything is okay on that. But Drosera, I've got probably 400 or 500 Drosera. I've only bought about 2 plants. The rest have come from seeds, and I have had nothing but success with Etsy, as a matter of fact, with those. Nepenthes is a little bit more dodgy, but with Drosera, great experience on Etsy with that. So now that we're done with seeds, let's talk about smaller plants and what the benefit of that is and where you can get those. And I'm going to give you some tips and tricks on where you can leverage to get even more plants for a less price. When it comes to buying plants, there's a few things you can do to help leverage your successes, and I'm going to give you some tips and tricks that I use that help me get more bang for my buck and to get more plants. The first thing you want to do is, the benefit of looking at larger sites like a Carnivero or a Predatory Plants or a California Carnivores is they're going to have the ability to be able to mass produce these plants, whether it's through tissue culture or seed grown, and be able to provide them at a more reasonable price. And so for that, I always say that is the best route to go if you're going for like an extra small plant. The other benefit of extra small plants, and I'll show you here in a minute what I'm talking about, is a lot of these places, they grow such large mass quantities that they don't want to take the time to break them apart. So what ends up happening is you get a lot of plants that when you only purchase one, you'll get clusters of plants, and I'll show you that momentarily. Now, the other benefit to a Carnivero or a predatory plant, and here's a tip: sign up for the newsletters, sign up for to receive emails. While this normally can be sort of an annoyance for different sites, it will pay off dividends when it comes to these sites. They will send you codes for even further discounts on your plants, Predatory Plants is really good about this. I've actually received a lot of free plants from them by simply putting in the codes. And here's a hint, the codes, a lot of them don't run out with one purchase, so you can use them multiple times. So very, very cool. It doesn't have to be a holiday that they do that. And so I recommend you sign up for the newsletters, sign up for the emails so that you can get those codes. Now, Carnivero is really, really good. They actually have a section on their main page site that has all their discounts on their plants. They will go as low as 60, even more, 70% off on their plants. And so if you wait for those spring sales, summer sales, whatever it might be, you can get a lot of plants. Let me go ahead and turn the camera around and show you what I mean about clusters of plants that I've purchased both from Carnivero and from Predatory Plants. So this one came from Carnivero. This is Astuciae by Spatulata by Jacqueliniae, and it's a little hard to see, but there's about 4 plants in there. Now I purchased this as one plant for extra small, but it's a good way to show you how that with these extra small plants, while it will take a little longer to grow and requires patience, you can get a lot more bang for your buck and get more plants that you could use down the road to trade and or help potentially get a female in there that you can help make your own hybrids later down the road. Now let me show you some from Predatory Plants. So if you follow the channel for any length of time, you've probably seen these, me highlight these. This is the Spatulata by Rob Cantley. They are already reasonably priced. I think they're $20. And I only purchased about 4 plants and I received, I don't even know how many, probably 30 or 40 plants. This is because while they're a pretty good size now, I bought them all extra small and they didn't want to take the time to pull them apart. And as a result, each quote-unquote plant had several plants in them. And so that is the benefit of buying from these larger retailers, or suppliers rather, is that you're going to get more bang for your buck because they mass produce them and they're not wanting to pull them apart. Now it does come with a caveat, and that is it takes time for them to grow, so you have to have patience there. But what this will allow me to do is as these grow out, I can pull them apart and buy, sell and trade them to get some of those more expensive plants that don't fall within my $100 budget. Now let's talk about some larger plants and what we can do there. So if you don't want to take the time, the year or two for plants to grow big, and you want to buy at a larger size, a place like Carnivero or Predatory Plants may not be the best option. Now California Carnivores, Pearl River Exotics especially, has medium-sized to large plants for a pretty decent price, but some of them are going to push the budget of that $100. Some of the things that you can do to circumvent this is utilize eBay. Now, make sure you have a reputable seller. You guys know based on my videos that I use Todd's Tropicals a lot. What that allows me to do is buy large cuttings that are going to flower for me sooner and going to produce larger plants that are a fraction of the price that some of these larger sellers. I'm not going to say any names, but I have purchased plants from Todd for $30, $40 that would have cost me upwards of $80 through one of the larger suppliers. So if you have that option available to you, just make sure that you vet out those suppliers, make sure they have a good history, and I would recommend that route for some larger plants. So it's a little hard to see, but this is the Thorelii by Aristolochioides. Now I bought this thing at a price that is a fraction of what I would have gotten it on one of the larger suppliers, and it is already flowering in 2 different spots. I got it flowering, and so that is the benefit of using a supplier that is more homegrown. Certainly I'm not taking away from the benefit of purchasing from these larger suppliers. They do in their own right offer a lot of benefit, but when it comes to larger plants and on a budget, this is the way to go. Now, as I said before, Pearl River Exotics is probably the best I've seen at offering large plants at a good price. Now, they don't have big sales that I have seen, but they do mark down their plants quite a bit. And so they are always worth checking out and looking into to see what you can get at a price for larger plants. So I could spend hours talking about this and all the benefits of doing research and using these tips and tricks, but the point that I'm trying to make in this video is to keep it brief, obviously, for your time, but then also let you know that there are ways that you can purchase these plants and build quite a large collection at just about $100 or less. I've actually moved my budget lower with the holiday season coming up, but I'm still able to buy plants and still be able to add to my collection around $50 is what my new budget is, but it will return back to the $100 mark. Now, not everybody wants to buy multiple plants, and I understand that, and that may not be for you. What I would say though is utilize those opportunities if you can to get those extra small plants and get you some extra plants. That way you can buy, sell, and trade, so you can get something like a truncata fipiata or a Lowii truncata that's going to cost you much more than $100 a month on your budget. That is always a good option for you when you're buying these plants, is think about the long-term goal. The other thing is there's far less females to males ratio when it comes to Nepenthes, so it's a little bit difficult. Now when it comes to Drosera, you can buy those from the site's Predatory Plants. It's got a lot of good deals on that. They have bundled deals that are really good. I tend to stick with Etsy just because it's buying local-ish. It depends on where you are. But it also, you're able to get the seeds. I like to see them grow. They have a very, very high strike rate with seeds. But if you don't want to waste, or don't want to spend all that time rather waiting for them to grow, a Predatory Plants is a good option. Carnivero sometimes has Drosera on there, but for the most part, Predatory Plants is going to have the most options for that. So I'm going to wrap up part one of this buying plants on the budget. Part two is going to be buying the supplies. Now, what you can do to find comparable supplies that would cost you upwards of several $100s for a reasonable price. I'm going to show you what I have, where I got them, and the results, and so much more on that. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. As always, I hope you have a wonderful day and a wonderful week. If you have any questions whatsoever about what you're purchasing or anything like that, please, please, please utilize me as a resource. I'm here for you. I will do the legwork for you if necessary. I will vet out these buyers and do my best to ensure that you're not getting taken. So, as always, have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful week. See you soon. Bye-bye.